and welcome to this week's Deep Deep Dive.
Try that again.
DevRel Deep Dive.
Perfect.
I'm Lottie. Let's go with it, Seb.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think I said in the last video, one day we'll start in a slick way, and then we'll finish. That will be the end of these videos. I'm Lottie from the developer relations team at Umbraco, and I'm joined by
Sebastian on the same team.
On the same team as we are colleagues. So this week we are doing a bit of a follow-up to a video we did a couple of weeks ago where we talked about open sourcing an Umbraco cloud repository, and we put a call out for people to help us to do some pull requests, to have a look at our proposed solution for how to have a cloud code base in public. And we wanted to do a follow-up video to say thank you to the people who did help us they took a look at it, they did some pull requests, and we are super happy because we now know that we can open source a cloud repo. But we thought we would share a bit of learning that we had. A bit of learning, some learnings. All the learnings that we had since we recorded that video. So for anyone who is wanting to open source their cloud repository as well, this would be helpful to watch, and just generally a bit more information about cloud as well. Seb, you're an excellent driver. Would you mind in terms of sharing a screen? You're a terrible driver of a car.
Don't have a driver's license, so.
Exactly, but in this sense, you're a safe pair of hands.
Very good.
So,
you can.
We're looking at the repository here.
We can immediately say some thanks here because when we ended the last video, we ended with me being the first contributor to this repository, and after that, Jesper Meinsusen and Richard Ockerby and Matt Brailsford helped us out with some other bits and bobs.
Yeah, we should apologise to Matt. We slightly nerd sniped him, I think. Which should we look at Matt's first? So Matt helped us move from the version 1 API endpoints that the GitHub action uses, and he switched. Well, first of all, he made the CS proj GitHub action change use regex, so it's a little kinder. So when you it doesn't matter whether there's a space in your comments, and it also is is version agnostic. He did it directly in the branches, so
I think this one was or maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but there's now the first version that I built basically commented out the package reference with the version number, and so if you upgraded, you'd have to remember to change the comments. You'd have to remember to change your GitHub action, but now the GitHub action will not need you to update it when you upgrade your version.
Yeah. Indeed, it will uncomment this one and make sure that the version is in line with what it needs to be. Is that what it's doing?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's very helpful. Then we can't forget to update versions.
Yes, so we don't. Obviously your CS proj needs to be updated, but you don't need to change the YAML, because once your YAML is built, no one ever wants to go and change the YAML, do they? Because those are the most frustrating things to test, as looking at the commit history will be trying again, trying for the fourth time. And we learnt with the version 2 endpoints, you have to specify the alias of the target environment that you're deploying to. And for us, that is stage. And we learnt that you can only use a GitHub action, or the CI/CD flow to push to the leftmost environment in your main line. We did try and see if we could then have a workflow that we could push directly to live from this repository, but no, cloud does not allow that.
Rejected.
I guess fair enough, because it's forcing you to send it through your pipeline of environments, and so to go from staging to live, you do need to use the cloud portal. But if you're using feature environments, then that would be quite cool, because you'd be able to put probably an environment variable in your repository and change the target environment that you're deploying to if you're using the new feature environments in cloud. So the V2 API endpoints support that. So we got all that working. Thank you to
Just
Mr.
to
Matt
show
Brailsford.
that what we mean with the main line and the leftmost environment is over here. And
yes,
that one is aliased with stage.
Yes, which I didn't choose. I created an environment called staging, and it told me its alias was therefore stage.
Yep, you can see the alias in the URL stage here.
Yep.
So I will prefix the URL with that one. Yep.
So thank you to Mr. Matt Brailsford, and the only difference really in our approach to using the endpoints is that we can never save the artifact zip file.
Yes.
Because the zip file that gets sent to cloud has the sensitive information in, and so Matt has worked out how to do all the changes in a way that still we're not persisting that zip file. Usually you do want to save the zip file as an artifact so that you can look at it in GitHub and sort of debug that way, but we don't want to do that because that would break.
Well, we would like to look at it, but we don't want anybody else to look at it. So.
Yes. In theory, I think they're only visible to collaborators of the repository. They wouldn't be visible to the public, but we just thought, why even risk that?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just never save the artifact.
When it comes to security, it's always good to be paranoid.
Yes, and it made debugging more fun,
Yep.
I'd say.
Yeah, fun or frustrating, however you want to call it. I talked to Jesper on our cloud team after we did all this about some things that we ran into, and as a result of that, I've added this line here. No build and restore is set to 1 instead of 0, so the default is that when you push the cloud, it does a build of the project first, but he told me that's unnecessary because the cloud will then, in the very next step, will start doing its own build and just do everything twice. So this saves about 2.5 minutes, at least on this project, that we don't have to worry about. It saves resources and time. Lovely.
Okay.
The benefits.
You checked
Yeah.
that because this no build restore is going to a cloud deployment YAML file. Is that is getting passed to the V2?
Yeah, this one goes to the cloud deployment, and you can see it here as well, that it will be picked up here in the
okay.
start deployment, which is what the cloud is using. So yeah, he's like, that's double up. The only reason you would want to build and restore is to fail the build earlier. So if you've committed code that actually doesn't build, then you see it, 10 seconds earlier than. So
Yeah.
there's no real reason to do it. At least that's how I understood it. So yeah, it was a nice extra hack. Or not even a hack, a life hack, I guess.
It's a nice
productivity
extra
improvement.
Following the documentation that we could write.
Probably. Yeah.
To be fair, we didn't read the documentation on the V2 API endpoints because we let someone else do that.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Cool. Want to talk about this one?
Yes.
So yep, we did ask in the last video, or at least we had an issue for this. Create a new project for adding an example dashboard, which is adding an actual dashboard into Umbraco 16, which is mostly front end stuff. So some TypeScript, some npm builds, and everything going on. And our friend Richard Ockerby implemented that for us. He did leave the output of the front-end build in the repository, so I have actually added that one to the git ignore because we don't need the output of the build in there. That's something that can run on GitHub itself, which we had to do. So to show a little bit about that. Now I forget in which file are we doing this.
I think
Oh
you
yeah,
got sniped.
yeah.
It's
I know.
it's sniped, isn't it? Not nerd
Sniped,
swiped, but
sniped. Yeah, yeah,
sniped. Yeah, you got a bit nerd sniped by
yeah.
this one, which delighted me because it meant I could get on with something else.
That's perfect. Yep, I had to figure out how to get the build output files into the zip file before we tell Umbraco Cloud here's what we want you to deploy to the staging environment. Which predictably happens just before we zip up the source code, so that's perfect. So I had to tell the GitHub workflow that I'm using npm22, or at least I want to use npm22 to build the front-end assets. There is a path to the front-end files that need to be built, and it builds into a predictable directory that's already being used when zipping up the source code. So we didn't have to do much to get this to actually build.
So is this are you doing the equivalent? You said you actually git ignored, removed generated files that Richard had committed.
Yeah.
You're actually now putting those files back where they were.
Yeah.
But obviously automated, so that we know 100% it's whatever the latest code is being regenerated.
Exactly.
Sorry, the front end assets are being rebuilt, put back in that location, and then that's in the zip file that gets sent to Cloud, because Cloud needs those files on disk.
Yes. And of course, this is
yeah.
just a build right now, but the best part about this is that we can run our npm tests and everything as well at this point, so we can fail the build if something doesn't work, and then we don't have to worry about that. So that's nice.
That's interesting. Do we need someone to build some unit tests for us?
Yeah,
and
could
this
be nice.
GitHub action failing as soon as possible, right? Because that's the key thing with tests.
Exactly.
Is they.
There was one little hitch I ran into when doing this. The default by default when you set up the examples project, the template. Oh, this is the wrong one. Hang on. Adds something to our csproj file, which is this part. It will add this execute npm run build to the project file, so that whenever you build in Visual Studio or Rider, it will build the front-end assets. We can't have that happening on Cloud. So, as I said before, we do a npm build restore, which I've now removed, but Cloud does it again anyway. And when it happens on Cloud, there is no, and there is npm installed on Cloud, but there's a really old version, and we can't change or predict what version will be there. So the build will fail at this point. So I had to figure out how to detect that we were running the Visual Studio build on Cloud, or sorry, the .NET build on Cloud, which is this nasty little string here, but it looks for an environment variable is running on Cloud, and it's also looking for a project ID. The combination of those two mean I am currently running on Cloud. Do not so skip this build completely.
Okay, because that's what we've done in the.
Because we've already done that on our in our GitHub workflow, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that the build step that you need to stop running on Cloud, that's there because it's in the Umbraco extension template. I think because that's a nice way of working, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's You know what? No wonder you went quiet for a day, Seb. There are a few things to sort out here, weren't there?
Yeah, it was a bit trickier than I thought it would be, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, and it's so much easier working on all this stuff on a site that worst case we delete it. It doesn't matter. This is a proof of concept site.
Yeah. But this is all good stuff. I think we should probably put something into the documentation around this as well, because I'm not sure if that exists yet.
No, I haven't. I haven't looked at that. You mean for the Umbraco extension template? And if you're using it on Cloud?
Maybe in the Cloud documentation, that's what I meant. Because other people will want to do this in their CI/CD builds as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So thank you, Richard, for your starting us on this journey, and well done, Seb, for finishing finishing the challenge
thank you.
and getting it working.
Cool. Did we have anything else?
There's still an open issue. There seem to be 2 open issues.
Ooh.
I added one because I needed to get this working on a 13 cloud site, and I was just reminding myself of some differences, and I hadn't got the brain power to work out how to put it in a README. So I at least put it in an issue. So if someone else is trying to get it working on a 13 site, they'll see how I did it. And if someone wants to turn that into a pull request to the README, that would be great. And there's still an open issue about if there's a better way to share content than using the zip files. But the zip files are going to do us absolutely fine for the start of the community website. So it's more of it would be interesting if we could, but it's not a deal breaker. We're happy. We know that you can have a cloud site in the open source.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
So yeah, thank you everyone, and we look forward to when there's a actual community website out there for people to contribute to. It's on its way. Great. That was it. Short and sweet this week, I think.
Indeed. Oh, you're looking at me expectantly. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell.
Yeah. No, actually, sorry, my brain just stopped. It started again. So we'll just finish this video properly, shall we? Thank you very much, Seb. Thank you to everyone who contributed. And we'll be back next time with who knows what, because we decide in the week what we're going to talk about that week. So we'll see you next time.
Excellent.
Cheers.
Bye.